Hi, today I'm going to talk to you all about the culture of silence in organizations. A culture of silence exists when people are either unwilling or unable to voice their opinions and speak up about things that they feel very strongly about in the organization and to the people who can affect that change. If you were to ask your employees on how they would react to someone who cut the line or a queue that they were standing in, many of them would give you a impromptu reply, a quick one, saying that they would very skillfully and tactfully ask the person to move to the rear of the line, reflecting all the confidence. But if this were to happen really, many of them would fall short. And this has happened to all of us, right? I mean, I distinctly remember this one incident. I was at the Starbucks and waiting in line for my cup of coffee to place my order, and there was something wrong with the cash machine, so it was taking longer than expected. And suddenly this man comes in and breaks the queue and places his order. The man standing right beside him, who was actually first in queue, didn't say a word. I was third or fourth, and got around to the person in front of me and who was standing behind me, and we just started saying, how did this person break the queue? So that's what happens. We start indulging in in these small pool conversations, and we are the line, we are the victims in this. But what do? We don't take this to the people who actually could have made a difference, right? For instance, the Starbucks manager. We didn't think it was worth the time and effort to do it, right? And for whatever reasons. Now, let's talk about why this happens, right? With the focus on organizations. This could happen either because of a very autocratic boss in the organization, right? You're reporting into an autocratic boss who really doesn't take much cognizance and give enough value to your opinions, right? And therefore, after a point in time, you just feel you don't feel the motivation to go and address your thoughts, your concerns, which might help the organization grow. There could also be a reason. Another reason could be an extremely aggressive colleague of yours, right, who's just out there to prove a point, right? His or her sole mission in life is to make his or her boss like them and appreciate them. So they're going all out, full throttle, leaving no stone unturned in terms of putting their colleagues down in front of the seniors. And then after a point, you yourself feel intimidated and being dominated, and you kind of give up voicing your opinion. It's happened to several people that we know. There could also be a reason around a lack of clarity with respect to role and responsibility. So sometimes you're not very sure exactly what you're expected to do in the organization, and therefore there is that sense of dissonance and confusion. And again, that leads to you not voicing your opinion because you wonder, if I do it, how will that reflect on me, and will that affect my job and my future in the company? And there is another reason could be related to your past, right? Which is a program or a certain program that you thought would have worked really well, and you strongly pushed for it, but it fell short, didn't meet the expectations, and your boss was not very happy about it. And now, because of that past incident, you are a little apprehensive of taking any future of programs or thoughts and back to the team, right? Now there will be several reasons, but these are some of the primary reasons that exist for culture of silence taking form in an organization, right, at a very, very micro level. Now, what does this do, right, to the employee who's experiencing it? Well, this leads to several resource sapping behaviors, right? Employees get frustrated, right? They land up taking unnecessary jobs within the organization, which is not part of their demarcated role and responsibility. They start keeping their frustrations to themselves and pent up a lot of emotions, which definitely is not good for the individual as well as for the organization. At an individual level, it will sap you of your energy levels, it will sap you of your ability to, your confidence, your morale, your ability to take things out, and when you strongly believe that this is something that will work, or in case there is something that you strongly feel will not and it will work to the detriment of the organization, but you're afraid of voicing your opinion, right? So all this is, well, destructive in many ways, both for the individual and the organization. And it's very important that companies awake to this and become cognizant of this, and take necessary action stroke intervention to manage these as I call it, resource sapping behaviors. Now, what can we do, right? What are some of the techniques that we can imbibe to help transform this culture of silence into culture of dialogue? Yes, it's all about a dialogue, right? The more we communicate, the more we are able to come out of our shells and contribute towards the organization and to our own personal goals. So one way is, of course, a risk assessment, right? Yes, I understand, you're feeling scared, you're feeling apprehensive, you have negative emotions about taking something out to your boss or to the higher management. But it's important for you to look at this as from a risk assessment point of view. What is the risk of you not voicing your opinion vis-a-vis the risk of you actually taking it ahead, right? And more often than not, the risk of not voicing opinion far outweighs the other risk, right? So it always makes more sense to take that necessary step in a very, very objective manner, right? Silence all the negative emotions inside you, and if required, make a document which actually details the pros and cons of a particular program, and put it in front of the management, right? So do a risk assessment. Second is, many a times, and this is with respect to peers and colleagues, right? We spoke about an aggressive colleague or a peer who's in many ways damaging your level of confidence in the organization. Many a times this happens is because they are uncomfortable in your presence, right? It is all because of certain insecurities within them. So how do we manage that? Is by addressing those insecurities. Make them feel comfortable in your presence and safe in your presence, right? You are no threat to them. So again, speak to them in a very objective manner. Get the emotions out, right? And engage in a dialogue. And when you do that, they will reciprocate, and the relationship will definitely be maintained. The third one is change your emotion, and it's again silence yourself, remove all the negativity, engage in a dialogue with on a very, very rational, very objective level. If you assume, and this is always a great foundation to start with, right? If you assume that all people mean no harm and they are rational, then addressing concerns in an objective, simplistic manner always helps, and communicate, right? So these are some of the ways that we can actually help an organization come out of this culture of silence and transform that into a culture of dialogue, which will affect the growth, productivity of the company and of the individual, right? So this is what I wanted to address to you all today. Thank you very much. Take care.